So first things first, you're gonna wanna wet your shirt. So you've got just this plain white t-shirt that I've made slightly damp. And then there are lots of different ways that you can fold or tie up your shirt. I'm just gonna do the most basic and easy way, which is you just start in the center. You're gonna pick that center point up, and then you're going to spin your t-shirt in a little spiral. And you're just gonna keep spiraling it until it's completely sort of in a ball shape. And you'll tuck these ends in. And then once you've got that tucked, you're gonna add some rubber bands to it. You're gonna rubber band your t-shirt in any way that you see fit. As many rubber bands as you'd like. There's not any specific number. And then you'll take your little paint squeeze bottles and you're just gonna go kind of wild. You'll put your paint in all over the shirt, kind of make it a point to get into the little crevices so that you got a lot of paint around. And there's no set amount of paint per water. I just kind of did a 50-50. But if you don't put enough water in there, once you have finished, your shirt's going to be kind of stiff because the paint won't have softened up. And just put a bunch everywhere. And because your shirt is wet, that paint's going to spread around. If your shirt is not wet, it's just going to kind of stick in one spot. So it's really important that you start out with a wet or damp shirt. And just remember that if you double up in spots, so like the blue and the red there are going to kind of mix together. So you won't get a full blue or full red. You'll probably end up with kind of a purple color or somewhere's thereabout. And you'll just keep adding paint until your shirt is totally saturated in paint. Make sure that you're using a protected surface or outside, so that way you're not getting paint all over your coffee table or dining room table or whatever it is you decide to use. And then once you've got the one side as covered as you'd like, you'll just flip it over and do the back side. And once you've got it fully covered, you're just gonna let it dry. So you let it dry like this for a little while before you unroll it. Otherwise your paint is just gonna get everywhere. And we'll come back and see what it looks like. Go ahead. So we've let our shirt sit outside for a little bit, so it got kind of dry. Once you've reached a point where it's fairly dry, go ahead and take your rubber bands off. We want it to be kind of dry because if we take off the rubber bands too soon, then the colors will just smudge all together. So you want to give it some time to kind of dry. That way those colors set up properly. And I won't lie, this is actually completely dry. I just re-added the rubber bands for demonstration purposes. So once you've got your rubber bands out or off, you're going to unfold your shirt and you're going to put it out in the sun somewhere to dry. We want it to be mostly dry before we bring it inside again. And that is that. Depending on what colors you use and how much paint you use, obviously your results will be a little bit different. I didn't use as much paint on this shirt as I could have. I mean, you can cover the whole shirt in paint and you'll get a more pronounced pattern. But I didn't use as much paint. I think that this looks pretty cool. Just know that your results will definitely be different. My favorite part is this little heart. Then once it is totally dry, go ahead and throw it in the dryer. Putting it in the dryer will set the paint before you wash it. Make sure that you wash it a couple of times by itself. Otherwise that paint might bleed onto other things in your laundry. But after you've washed it a couple of times, it should be pretty color safe and able to be washed with everything else. And there you have it. And you'll see that my yellow is not as thinned out as it should have been. So this part where the yellow is kind of stiffer. It's a little bit crusty. But this blue and this red were thinned out pretty well. And again, there's really no right ratio for paint to water. You just want your paint to be pretty thin. And there you have it. Hopefully you have fun. I want to see your results. Send us a picture. Tag us on Instagram. We want to see the cool things that you guys are doing. All right, see you next time.